Alright, in this video you're going to learn how to make insane Reese basses that are going to control the mind of your listeners and make everybody call you a Reese god. There will be actually 4 levels and I'm telling you don't want to miss out on the 3rd one. My name is Max, hit a like, make the subscribe button gray and let's get started. I love Reese basses because they're one of the most, if not most powerful instruments you can think of. Man, you can make a full track out of just Reese and bass. A good Reese bass can nicely fill up your Spectrum mixing box, starting from sub to mid frequencies to even the trebles, but it can also fill up the stereo and mono spectrum of your mix without sacrificing clean or unmuddy mix. But all that only if you do it right. So we are going to use Serum and then implement all of the techniques we learned into stock FL Studio plugins. Starting with level 1st, open Serum, and we are going to play in the 2nd octave register. So here's 5th, 4th, 3rd, and lower here will be our 2nd register. We are going to turn up the unison to 6 voices. If you go to 7, it will already start to sound kind of weird. And the phasing issue will start to hit. If you didn't know yet, phasing issues don't apply to Reese basses. We don't want them to be very, very clean. But I'll show you some cool tricks later in the video. Now we turn on the filter and go to the MG Low 18. That's the settings I prefer. Now we can make it a little bit louder with the drive. Increase the resonance a little bit, and now turn on mono, legato, and portamento to about 70 or 80 milliseconds. Now that's level 1st of 4. Let's go further. We'll go to effects, turn on the compressor and make it multi-band. Now you can also apply distortion at this point. It will destroy the sample. You can play with different type of distortions. Asymmetrical here works really, really nice. And in the level 2nd, we'll turn on the reverb. While usually you'll hear to not put reverb on your bass, that's very correct if you want to have clean unmuddy mix. But as soon as you take the low cut up and take the high cut down, the asymmetrical distortion kind of sounds like a fart. Sound less like a fart, take down the mix. Now the reverb is not pretty much audible, but after the release you can hear the space going up, which kind of works pretty nice. If you want to double up on that, you can put the reverb before the compressor. It will just boost it up. I don't necessarily want to do that. You can also play with the delay, ping pong mode in the very, very high settings. Quite faster. As soon as you just don't affect any lows, you should be alright. Now this kind of Reese is already very nice. I use it in like 90% of my tracks.
Just say you love me completely. It felt so close, waiting for your love.
But as we are always showing you something you haven't seen yet, in level 3rd, stuff is getting pretty advanced. First off, especially if you have turned on the distortion, make sure to play with the resonance. That way you can make really creepy effects. You can't go wrong with like 50%. Now, however, we are going to change the waveform here. We're going to analog, and you can choose some of the PWM ones. And now we are going to apply LFO on the position and take down the rate. Now another thing, we are going to turn on the noise and choose some analog as well. We can increase the noise and turn it on in the filter. Now as we got this moving, we can now turn on the sub here in the triangle mode. And now we're going to adjust some of the settings here. Maybe we can go with the low, turn on more of the high end here, turn on the resonance like this. As soon as we turn it on, now the multiband can be a little bit too much. And maybe change the distortion here to tube. And before my favorite part, I wanted to let you know that we just released our new Serum pack with over 100 amazing dirty presets like this, plus 100 MIDI song starters for each preset and 100 samples to get you inspired right away. It's been in the making for a really long time. Every preset is fine tweaked with 4 macros from each preset to get so many colors, sounds and effects in a turn of a knob. There are no basic, no stock sounding presets in here. It's a collection of only our total favorite dirty keys, organic synths, a ton of basses and Reese basses, whether you're making trap, hip-hop, EDM, house or practically any genre. If you're keen on a library of instruments like this for your next track and want to support our channel, link is down in the description. Now one of my favorite tricks in here is linking LFO to cutoff. Like that, turning off the BPM, taking the note and assigning it to the rate. Now the magic happens. We are going to make this kind of shape in the note like that. We are going to set this dot about where our lowest note is, about C2. And now if you go higher, the frequency of the wobble will depend on what note you play. You can make it more harsh by taking this dot here. And now if you want to make a dry mix knob out of this, you can simply go to Matrix and to the LFO rate, and in the LFO2 make the aux source to, for example, macro 1. So it only works when you want it to. Now, of course, for the macro 2, you can set it to cutoff. And what I like to also do is making this kind of blacky shape with one of the LFOs, applying it also to cutoff, making it envelope, and make it work about 15 to 20. You can also increase the release. You can also assign aux source for this LFO. You can download this exact preset together with a couple of more presets in our light version of the full Memoriam Serum pack. However, now if we apply this to a new mixer track and put some imager on it, you can see how out of the phase our Reese bass. As your Reese bass would not be your main bass of your track in the drop or something when it needs to be very clean. Also, depending where people will be listening to your track, it's not very necessary to have it very nicely in mono. However, what we could do is tweak some knobs inside of Serum to make it right, but I like to add another Serum instance, and the new one will be our sub, and this one is our Reese, of course. And now we apply this one to another mixer track. And now on the Reese Serum track, we apply EQ and cut everything from the very bottom in very harsh settings like this. About 120 Hertz. And now go to our sub bass. And we can go with sine wave or also again saw wave. And we just leave it as it is and just go into the mixer and apply very harsh high cut from everything about where we cut it. And now we can simply add layer, mark those two, set children, and if we play the layer, now if we make a simple bass out of those guys and apply imager just to see if our sub bass is in mono, you can see that it's much better. I usually don't care about that since in the breakdown it's not very necessary to have everything very nicely in mono, because in my intros or my breakdowns I don't really care to have my mono compatibility in place that much. And now for example, Reese Bass in 3x oscillator, very easy. We're going to make all of the oscillators play saw wave, make them play at 12 chord pitch. Now we're going to detune second and third oscillator into opposite directions and fine-tune them as well in opposite directions. Now in the settings here, you can enable the envelope, leave only hold, take the filter down here in the mod X, increase the resonance here, and you can also make it mono and portamento. Pretty cool, huh? You can fine adjust the level here and find the perfect settings for you. You can save it now as a preset and use it for your own productions, or you can do it also in the stock plugin GMS, super cool plugin. We use it a lot in our online courses. We choose the user default presets, increase the voices to 6, detune about 40% and set the stereo to 100%. Now I like to turn on the distortion here and low pass here or here. Also frequency slide, make sure to turn it on also with mono voice. You can then play with a lot of different waveforms. And very important part is Reese basses also work in mono. And why is that especially good tip? Because as in music everything is relative, you want your drop to feel a lot wider than your breakdown to have more wow effect. And that's why it's also cool to, especially in the breakdowns or leading into the drop, turn down the stereo. It sounds equally nice, but just a little bit less wide. If I were to do it in our Serum patch we made, I would just apply Fruity Stereo Enhancer and merge the stereo separation. Make sure to check out our new Serum patch. It's packed with really amazing sounds. We have 100% money guarantee as always on everything. It's also inside of the full bundle where you get access to all of our courses plus 40% discount on all future products. If you bought full bundle before, you also get 40% discount off the original price of our new Serum pack. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, comment your next topic idea and subscribe to not miss out when it's coming out. See you in the next video.